Edgar Westbury's Whippet engine. First appeared in an issue of Model Engineer, June 1963, Model Engineer magazine. It's a British publication. Edgar Westbury said that this engine was in response to requests he had gotten for a compact and simple to build 4-stroke engine that would be water cooled and would last a long time for a motorboat and would run. So that was 1963. Fast forward to 2022, and Enginemore, Musa, the Chinese model engine company, came out with a version of the Whippet. And on their website, it's right now, as of 2024, July 2024, it says it's discontinued or out of stock. Here's the carton that it came in. So here it is. We'll unbox it. We'll sit here at the table, unbox it. I'll set it up. I brought a piece of the old walnut off my grandfather's farm. You can buy a running stand off of the website, the Sterling Kits website. It's $89, and it has a fuel tank, a metal base, fuel tank, and the stands for the engine. But $89. Let's sit down and take a look at it. Nice packaging. Foam. Mine arrived. I don't know if it was drop shipped from someplace in New York or New Jersey or someplace, or it was shipped all the way from China. As I recall, it didn't take very long to get it. Probably less than 2 weeks. There it is. It's really nice. I would call this British Racing Green, maybe, huh? You can see these L valves. The spark plug is slanted. Comes with the plug. So here's one of the Sterling ignition kits. It runs on 6 volts, which I have running in a previous video. What looked like radio controlled pigtails, connectors. There's no connector for the spark plug on this particular setup. You get this is the coil and the electronic ignition contained in this box. So I'll have to hook that up, probably have to do some soldering. And you get these packages. Here's a rope starter. It's got a nylon rope and a plastic handle. I have my own fuel tank. I have another video where I made this fuel tank. This is a piece of 1-inch copper tubing. This has worked really well for my other engines that I run all the time. So I'm going to use this for my fuel tank. It's a cute little carburetor. Okay, inside the carburetor package were 3 other packages. So I'll show you the carburetor first. It's got the trumpet horn intake, a nice little handle for the throttle, the main needle jet here. Then the another package this has got some gaskets and tiny little screws for the carburetor. And there's another package with the curved exhaust pipe. Looks like it's made of copper. It's pretty heavy. Probably goes on here something like this. Then we've got 2 package with O-rings. This is for the water cooling hoses. They'll go right here. 2 water cooling hoses. Another package. These are some tiny metal. These are to solder your ignition wires on. They're going to go right here. Well, they're already on there, so those are spares. So you can see the fixed point here and the moving point here. The solder tabs are already on there. That's pretty convenient. So we'll solder those up. So this is most likely the ground wire. It's black. Then here's a connector. And this connector just has bare wire, so, and this is going to be the battery, most likely. This is the battery. ground, battery, and spark plug right here. All right, let's get working on this. You gotta strip the wires off this a little bit, make some sort of a clip for the spark plug. Need a, there's no connector for the spark plug. You could use one of these little alligator clips, but I've only got 2 left, so I'm just gonna make something up here with this piece of copper. Let's see what I can come up with. By the way, I got a 6-volt battery. It's an old one, still showing good 6 volts, so it's like just a lantern battery. It's going to be magnesium battery. It's a little piece of copper. Drill a hole in it, and then cut it so I can slide it on there. Let's do that. So I drilled a hole in there. Use the step bit. Get a little hole in there, and then we'll see if that'll slide on them. Look at that. Perfect. Now I'll just solder a wire on there, and I'll have a contact. Let's try another one. That's better. That's all it takes. We have a spark connector. Next, need a carburetor. Let's put that on. Here's all the gaskets for the carburetor. Alright, figure out how this goes on here. So this is the gasket. So that's going to have to go on first. plastic thing. Okay, turn it up. It's not going anywhere for the time being. Alright, so we got the carburetor, exhaust, we got a spark connection, need some fuel, and we'll be in business. There's this stuff. White fuel, I use it most of my engines, add a little oil to it, works great. Alright, the next step is to mount this up on the walnut. Mount something like this, gotta have room for the ignition. It's gonna be over here somewhere. First I'm gonna cut this piece of scrap to get it neat. I'll just take that out to the bandsaw and do that real quick. Okay, I've got the wooden base. Had a little bad spot, I just left it in there. This is walnut, cut off my grandfather's farm many years ago. So let's see how this is going to fit up. Put it right on the edge so that you can get to the flywheel without any interference. Put it right up here on the edge. And then I want to put it in the middle. So if I want to clamp this to the workbench, there'll be room for that. So when you're running it, it doesn't jump around. So that's, again, good. Okay, I'm out in the shop where I have my drill press. I got the old piece of walnut. I'm going to drill the hole for the fuel tank support and the engine mount. I don't think I was going to do the second one yet until I get a screw in there to locate it. Okay, so we've got the mount holes drilled and threaded, fuel tanks on, ignition box is wired up, batteries ready. So I have to put the cooling flanges on. The O-ring goes in there as a seal. It's about a 1/4 inch O-ring. Okay, I've got some polyurethane gloss clear. I'm just going to put a coat of this on to protect the wood, protect the walnut from the oil, fuel, so forth. let this dry overnight. Painted this with some polyurethane. Came out pretty nice. It's nice and shiny. It'll protect it from the fuel and oil. So now I'm going to mount the engine up on the base. Got the 6-volt battery. I've checked that it's good. What I'm going to do on the connector is put a little piece of heat shrink on it. Something like that. Okay, now I've got the engine. I got some 540, these are 540 gun screws. Found these Ace, they're black anodized. 540 by 1 inch, I think, something like that. These are awkward. This design makes for these mounting screws, it's like the camshaft hump on the crankcase is directly over where you have to get in with your screwdriver, so that's difficult. Be better with a socket head cap screw. Would be better, and you could use a rounded one. Get it at an angle. Fuel line. So in here, for my oil, got 50-50 mix of Marvel Mystery Oil and just 10W40 motor oil. Fill up the fuel tank with camp fuel from Walmart. I put a little Marvel Mystery Oil in with the fuel just to make sure everything gets lubricated, well lubricated. I'm going to put a mark on the needle valves. Probably will do that with a file or something more permanent than Sharpie will wear off with the fuel. But for now, I can see where the needle is set. Look at that. Okay, we're all set. I'm going to take it outside and run it. The only thing I haven't done is I want to add a little water in here, because this is a water jacket and this is a water-cooled engine, and I don't have any cooling set up for it right now. But I'm going to have water. I'm only going to run it 2-3 minutes, and then before it gets too hot, I keep an eye on it. I don't have a water pump to use, so it doesn't come with it. I got this filled with water. I just have it short-circuited, so it has water in there. Help it cool a little bit. I'm only going to run it for a few minutes, if I get it running at all. It did come with a one-way clutch like the RC cars use, and the screws for putting it on, so, and a shaft that you can chuck up in your drill and then use it as a starter, so I'm going to use it. This is a lot of screws. This engine is brand new. It's never been run. I did not take it apart. It's got a great deal of compression. And here's the shaft that comes with it. It looks like about 1/4 inch. It's about 3 inches long. It's a one-way, so it rotates counterclockwise. And we're hot. Should open the needle valve one turn. That would help. Now we're wet. Flooded. Okay. Nada. And we're going to check the spark. And to get this out, you will need a glow plug wrench. This is one for an RC car diameter to get in there. It says 8mm, but I'm not. So we'll hook her up here and see if we have any spark coming. No spark. Okay, as it turns out, my electronic ignition was hooked up completely wrong. I had the wrong wires. So the red connector here, the JST connector, I believe that's called, is actually the battery with the 2 wires. The battery, the one that looks like a servo connector, or looks like a Futaba servo connector, is the one that goes to the points. And you only use the white and the black wire. I had used the red and black. So only use the white and black, and you can match them when you plug these up. Match the black to black and white to white. So I hooked it up that way after looking at a video from Myford Boy on YouTube, and he sets up this same engine, and I used that video to check what I had done, and of course I was wrong. So this works, and I can see if I can show you the spark here. See that? I don't know if you can see it. I can hear it. You can hear the spark pop. I have the spark plug sitting here on the throttle. There it is. I rotate the, see that as I rotate the crankshaft, flywheel. Nice hot spark. So I have it hooked up correctly now. So we'll go back and try to start it again. Ready to try it. Hooking up the battery. Hooking up the spark plug. Got plenty of compression now. The throttle is wide open. Needle valve is closed. I'm going to open it up one turn. Wow, that started pretty easily, I have to admit. Amazing. Alright, well, since I don't have any cooling, I'm going to let it cool down. But that's the Whippet. Alright, with that in mind, I'm going to set it back to a one turn open, full throttle. Cool down a little bit. It seems to run, it's like 3/4 throttle and about 3/4 of the needle valve open. I haven't messed with the ignition timing. It doesn't sound like it needs any adjustment. Starts easily. I'm going to open it up a hair. Pretty good. There we go. Looks like the gas tank's run out. That's it. Runs pretty good. Whippet. It's pretty true to the original Westbury Whippet. Nice paint. Cool looking throttle with the trumpet intake. Seems to run best about 3/4 open on the needle valve there. I'm running it on white gas, Coleman's fuel. We'll run it some more when I get a water pump hooked up where I can get cooling.